What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a question that you do get quite a bit, and that is how to create those classical facades in Revit that have lots of ornaments and things like that. Now in particular for this video I want to show you how to create a window trim, so just to make your windows a bit more impressive and imposing, and I'm just going to be doing that as creating this window trim family. Now you can approach this in a couple of different ways. You can have this trim just as part of your window family, and that would work, but I think the better approach is to have it as a separate trim family. I just think that's how it would be built in real life. Window is one element and then the trim is something completely separate that you do on the facade. So that's the approach that I'm going to be using for this tutorial. Now before we get into that, something that's really important, and I have to ask you to like this video and also make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon. Not so that you don't miss any of my future videos, even though that is one of the benefits, but the main issue is we need to make the alpaca happy, and by hitting that it will make the alpaca happy. So make sure to do it. Now, okay, done? Okay, let's now jump into Revit. So as you can see here, I'm at my home screen and I'm just going to be starting a new project. I'm going to start off with the project, place a window, and then we'll create the trim as a separate family. So here in Revit, I'm just going to choose the template file. I'm going to be using my architecture design template. Now, if you're interested in checking out my templates, I would like to encourage you to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com. It's going to be the first link just below this video and also up in the cards above. You can find there all of my courses, you can find my templates there, and also something that I have included recently, and that is some really high quality realistic Revit families. So if you want to get some really good Revit families, now you can on balkanarchitect.com. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's just click OK and let's let Revit start up. So as soon as Revit starts up, I'm just going to be placing some simple walls. So let's go here to floor plans level 1, and then here in level 1 I'm just going to go to the architecture tab, go to the wall command, let's click on wall, WA is the shortcut. I'm just going to be placing it just as a rectangle, and here for the wall, let's just use the exterior wall, perhaps the brick one. Okay. Just place that wall, just like that, perfect. Zoom in, hit the escape key a couple of times, and now let's go to the window tool. So I just want to place a simple window, so I'm just going to be using my architecture design window, and let's use this one. It's a nice big window. The sill height is at 91.5, and let's just place it like that. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and this is what we have. Now I'm just going to go to the quick access toolbar, go on the default 3D view, and this is what that looks like. Now it's time to turn this into, or to add that window trim. So that, as I said, it's going to be a completely separate family. So to create that family, what you want to do is you want to go here to the file menu, you want to go to new, you want to go to family, and then for the template file you don't want to go to window. So the window is for, well, openings, and this is not going to be creating an opening, it's just a facade element. So what we need for that is going to be a generic model, but I'm going to go with a wall-based one. So a wall-based generic model is going to give us a family that's, well, hosted on a wall, but it doesn't make an opening inside of the wall because, well, we already have that from the just from the window. Okay, so here we have the placement side, and we can actually go to the project browser and open up the placement side elevation, and then here we have to set up some reference planes to make this whole thing parametric. So you want to go here to your reference plane tool, RP is the shortcut, and let's place a couple of vertical ones like so, a couple of horizontal ones like this, And now it's time to constrain them and to add parameters. Remember, we want to make this parametric, so let's now add some parameters. So for that, you're adding parameters simply as placing some aligned dimensions. And if you want to learn more about parametric design when it comes to families and just how to create any possible type of family in Revit, I actually have a course just for that. So it's a course that's dedicated on a family creation and the family editor. The link is going to be just below this video in the description, and also I'm going to include it up in the cards. So make sure to check it out if you're interested in that. Anyways, let's now just place the dimensions. So I'm just going to go here and place it like this. So just all three, place it here, and then you click the EQ. What this does, it makes these equal. So no matter how far one goes out, the second one will follow that same dimension. Also, we need to add one more of these aligned dimensions, and that one is going to be turned into a parameter. Now, you turn a dimension into a parameter simply by going here to label, and then it says none because we don't really have any parameters to use. So you go here to create parameter, and then you can call this one the trim width. Okay, and I like to make it an instance parameter so I can adjust it to each individual window in my project. Then you click OK. And there we go. Now we have a new parameter. Also, let's create some dimensions here. So for that, again, it's going to be aligned dimension. The I is the shortcut. You go from the reference level, you go to this line, and then you go up to this line, and then you place it wherever here. Okay, so once you have those dimensions, as you can see, it's kind of hard to kind of pick one for a labeling when you have two of them. So instead of that, let's use the same approach, but let's do them separately. So this is one, and then the second one is going to go like this. So when you do that, now you can select them individually. See, that's better. Okay, so let's select the bottom one, and then let's go to create parameter as well. This one is going to be the sill height. Okay, instance parameter, click OK, there we go. And then this one is going to be a trim height. Instance parameter, OK, and we're done with all of the parameters. Okay, so now once we have this opening, let's see the dimension of this opening. Yeah, it seems all right. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Okay, so once we have this, now it's time to get started. So to create our window trim, what I like to do is go here to the Create tab, and then it's going to be usually a series of sweeps. Sweeps are really good for creating this type of geometry, you know, the ornament geometry, so to speak. So let's go here to Sweep. I'm going to go to Sketch Path, and then you want to go to Set Work Plane, and make sure you pick a plane, and then you pick the front face of this wall. So if you don't do that, it's going to host it kind of in the middle of the wall, and you don't want that. So make sure to pick that face of the wall, just like that. Or alternatively, what you can do is you can go to the reference plane, go here to Set Work Plane, pick a plane, OK, and then you just come in here, hit the tab key a few times until you get this reference plane here, and then you pick that one, and then you can go to Placement Side. This kind of ensures that you have the correct reference plane, ensuring that everything is going to stick out kind of in front of the face of the wall. Okay, now let's go and create something that looks like that. Now you want to lock this in place, so you just kind of move it out, move it back in, and you lock. Again, do it here, lock it here, but you also want to lock it here on the bottom. Now I like to do that by using the Align tool. AL is the shortcut. You just click on this bottom reference plane, you click on the little point here, lock. Same thing, repeat, lock, perfect. Okay, now let's finish out of that. Let's edit the profile. So for the profile, we have to go to the reference level. So let's go to the floor plan, reference level, perfect, and then we can start off from here. So what you want to do here is, well, what I like to do is kind of measure out using a simple rectangle. So you create a rectangle like this, and then we can see, okay, this is like 40 millimeters by, I don't know, 190. Okay, that seems kind of proportional to the size, perhaps 160. I don't know. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, and now you start kind of designing the trim inside of this. So let's go perhaps at an angle a little bit here. Yeah, perhaps like that, go up, then perhaps use an arc like that. It's kind of tricky. There we go. Switch back to the line tool here, go out with a line like that. Then let's follow the same angle here. And then on this side, perhaps add a couple of these arcs at 45 degrees. Perfect. Perhaps move it out a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to select this one, go to mirror, draw axis, and then just do something like this. And then move this a little bit in. Yeah, just like that. Connect these two with a simple line like so. And then finally, let's delete this line here. And let's use the split element tool to split here. And then let's use trim and extend to kind of fix all of this up. And now we have some sort of window trim. Obviously you can play around, you can do something different. If I just hit finish, go to the 3D view. Now currently we don't have a 3D view. This 3D view is the project 3D view. So we have to go back to our family, go to the default 3D view here. There we go. Here is that profile, hit finish, and this is what we have. So we already have some nice looking window trim. Also, I found this looks best in the shaded mode, so now you can kind of see the actual geometry. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, moving forward, now I want some trim here at the sill height, or at the sill level. So for that, what you want to do is go perhaps here in the elevation, so that's placement side elevation. Select this reference plane here, and then let's call it the bottom. Okay, there we go. And now let's go back to our reference level. And then here, what you want to do is go to create. You want to start with a sweep. And then for that sweep, you want to go to set work plane. It's going to kind of default to the reference level, but you want to change that to the bottom reference plane. Click OK. There we go. And now you simply just start from here. Oops, hit the escape key a couple of times. So you never just start creating lines. You go here to sketch path and then you create lines. Unless they're pink like this one, you have a problem. So just remember that. Okay, so you go out like this, 40 millimeters. You go to the other side. You go back. Perfect. And then also I like to kind of lock this in place like that. Like this, and then finally these points, you want to lock them there. See how it gives you this? Okay, so it's locking it to this side. I don't want that. So what I want to do is use the align tool again. AL is the shortcut. Use the tab key to get this one, and then the point lock. Again, this one, the point lock. And then if you want to be kind of extra careful, you can use the align dimension. Go from that reference plane. So again, I'm using the tab key to find it. Go to here and then just lock this in place. So now everything is locked. You're completely covered. Nothing is going to go wrong. And once we have this, we can hit finish. And now let's create our profile. So for the profile, we have to open up one of the elevations. Let's go to the placement side elevation. And then here, you just go out perhaps a little bit like this. Let's give it a generous kind of sill. Let's go down by maybe 40 millimeters, go up to here, create something, I don't know, like this. Perhaps even more down. And then something like that, I don't know. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just going to pull this in a little bit, the whole thing. Then this, I'm just using the arrow keys here just to kind of pull it in closer. Perfect. Use the line tool to close this up. There we go. Yeah, that seems to look fine. You can kind of make it, I don't know, nicer if you want here. For example, we can do something like, I don't know, like that if you want to be crazy about it. And then you would kind of split this up and join those elements. Close this off here. There we go. Hit finish. Go to the 3D view, again hit finish, and now we have something that looks like this. Now that I look at it, looks kind of unproportional. So perhaps if I select it again, go back into edit sweep, double click on that profile. Perhaps we can bring this in. I may have gone a little bit too crazy with this, so perhaps like that. So it's really kind of back and forth, playing around, seeing what works. So let's hit finish, finish. Yeah, this seems a lot nicer. Okay, so once we have that, what I'm going to do next is just repeat something like this above the window. So you can do that by going here to your, let's go to placement side again, and I need another reference plane here to host that. So what I'm going to do is just go here to create reference plane, and then let's pick out another plane here. We can host it here kind of on top of this, like that, and I'm just going to add an align dimension like this and just lock that in place. So once we have this, I think this looks good. Okay, so we have that position, it's locked in place, and now we can just repeat this whole thing on top. Now I'm just going to speed that up just because this video is getting a little bit too long, so I'm just going to speed that process. It's basically the same thing as we have here. We're just going to name this one top, top, and we're just going to repeat this just from the top up. And here is what we have. Now I did mess up this for a moment, if you have seen that, and that kind of sped up a bit. So if I just go here into edit sweep, this path, I first placed it to kind of follow the inner line that we had here, but because the bottom has to follow the top of this sweep, that's why I had to kind of extend it to the outside and then move the profile a little bit to the inside. So that's pretty much all that happened there. Now, before we load this into the project, we have to do a couple of more things. First, we have to kind of fill out these gaps that we have here from our sweeps, both top and bottom. So let's do that first. So that's actually quite simple and straightforward. You simply go here to the Create tab, you go to the Extrusion tool, Solid Extrusion, you go to Set Work Plane, pick a plane, okay, pick this plane here, and then you just create a rectangle that goes from here to here. Now you lock it on all sides. It's just going to give you locks by default immediately. You hit finish, it's going to pop up here. You just drag it down until it snaps to that bottom sweep. You lock it there, you lock it up here. There we go. Same thing on the bottom here. So again, you go to Create, Extrusion, Set Work Plane, pick a plane, okay, pick this plane, go to Rectangle, and then again, just go from here to the other side, hit finish. There we go. Go to the bottom. You can actually extend it even further if you want. I'm just going to lock it at the bottom, lock it here. Did I lock it on all sides? Okay, I didn't. That's annoying. So for that, let's use the Align tool now. So you just come in here, use the Tab key or to kind of pick that vertical plane like this, lock it there, lock it here, and then for the wall face, hit the Tab key, find that face, and then lock that there. Perfect. Hit finish. Okay, now we're done. And finally, you just have to join all of these together. So you just come here to the Join Geometry tool. You use that. You start from this, for example. You can use multiple join, and then you click here, 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 and as you can see, it's just going to become one solid piece of geometry. As you can see, this is now kind of seamless. and it looks perfect. Finally, I just want to select all of this, go here to the material, and let's apply some, I don't know, some white-ish material. I like to use gypsum wallboard because it's, well, it's white. Okay, apply, okay, and then finally go to the placement side and just try to flex this a little bit. So just kind of move it around, see if anything breaks, if anything comes out of place, and this seems to be working properly now. So let's just go back a few steps. Oops, let's not save that yet. Okay, so once everything looks fine, once you're happy with it, the next step is just going to be to save it. So now let's save it. I'm going to save it on my desktop here. Let's call it the window trim. Okay, hit save. And now let's finally load that into the project and close it up. So just click on that. And now here inside of our project, we can save that later. You just come here to that window, you click, and you get that trim over here. Now to adjust the trim, you need to go to the elevation view. So in this case, that's the south elevation. So you just come to that, you select this, and then you can drag it out a little bit to the outside of the window. And then I like to align it to this inside line, just because if I go to the 3D view, as you can see, that line is flush with the wall, so I don't want it to show on my facade. So I'm just going to make this flush with that. So you go back to the south elevation, you zoom out a little bit, you go to the align tool, AL is the shortcut, just come to this, click here, lock, here, lock. And then finally here, and lock, and here, and lock it in place. And now if you go to the 3D view, this is what that looks like. As you can see, it looks really cool, really elegant, and best of all, you can use this with any other shape of window. So if you have a smaller window, like, I don't know, like a window like this, as you can see, your window trim is going to adapt to that window size. So you can actually have any size of window that you might come up with, and the window trim will adapt to that. So I really like that, and it's still a separate family, so you can perhaps have more of these depending on the styles of window trim that you want to use. Now finally, if you want to get this project file, this window trim family, as well as the entire project file, you can find that on my Patreon page. That's going to be one of the links just below this video in the description, and then also I'm going to link it up in the cards, so make sure to check that out. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.